Good morning. There is a concept in Japanese that I will not embarrass myself by mispronouncing. But in ceramics, in pottery, when something has been damaged, broken, shattered, it is reassembled with gold and actually has an increased value, beauty, and structural integrity. So today's class is going to be about creating that same concept for ourselves and for our society. We're going to do that working with the third, fourth, and fifth chakras. I feel like the first and second, if you haven't started to resolve your issues around feeling safe and psychologically stable, you need to just keep working in that area. The sixth and seventh chakras are about the plane that's beyond what we experience in day-to-day life. But third, fourth, and fifth are still about the material world up to the level of humanity. So we're going to work with integrating those three chakras today. The third chakra is our engine. It's our powerhouse. And you have to have the strength there to fully be expansive in the heart for love of ourselves and other people, for forgiveness of ourselves and other people, for empathy. And then to take the strength, the love, and openness of the heart up to the throat, where we fully express who we are in the world. So we're going to be working with those three today. Let's go ahead and tune in. Let's do another breath, shaking off the outside distractions, focusing on what we're going to do right now. Inhale. Oh, wonderful. Palms together, long through the spine. Deep inhale to chant. Om Namo Guru Deva Namo. Om Namo Guru Deva Namo. Great. We'll warm up with just good old spinal flex. We'll bring our hands down to the knees, inhaling, reaching the heart forward, the elbows back, the collarbones broad. Exhale, round back. Inhale, come forward, but maintain some stamina, some stability in an area below the navel point. Inhaling forward, exhaling back. In Japanese culture, there's this idea of the hara, the dantian center. It's in between the pubic bone and the belly button. Find that spot deep inside yourself and feel it engaged and drawing back. So even as you draw forward with your chest, broaden through the collarbones, open through the throat, feel that engagement in the low abdomen. Great. Inhale, tall, long. And when you engage the muscles of the pelvic floor, also feel the dantian center, the hara, deep inside the low abdomen, engaging, drawing back deeper into the body as the pelvic floor pulls up, as though the two were going to meet. Great. Okay, we're going to come down onto our backs. And hopefully you've got a blanket or a towel or something handy that you can roll up into a tight sausage. Okay, so we're gonna lie on this with our spine right along the center line of the blanket, and maybe your head can rest on that too, or you could have a separate pillow or block for your head. So your bottom, your sacrum might lie off the edge of your blanket roll. Oh, nice. All right, so once you're here, make your collarbones as broad as you can. So it'll feel like your two shoulders are drawing towards the opposite walls. And then snug your blanket deeper between the creases of your shoulder blades. And now take this area of your shoulder blades, the top back of your shoulders, and try and reach them to the ground. Almost like someone were gently pushing your shoulders to engage with the floor. So it's going to be a fairly intense stretch across the spine, across the chest. Keep working it. Keep working, trying to push the shoulders down to the floor and the collarbones as wide as they'll go. Now, the blanket is right in between your shoulder blades. Go ahead and try and squeeze the blanket with your shoulder blades. It might help to turn your palms facing upwards. Squeeze and let go. Squeeze and let go. Your elbows may slide in a little closer to your body. Squeeze and let go. Do that several times. You should feel sore pretty quickly on those very weak, underused muscles in between the shoulder blades, the rhomboids. Great. Relax out of that. Scooch just a tiny bit to the right on your blanket so that you have a little more freedom of movement for your shoulder blade. So your shoulder blade lies against your ribs and it can get stuck. So we're going to do our best to glide it to the outside of the body, down towards the bottom, in towards the spine, up towards the ears. So let's start by gliding the right shoulder blade as far out away from the spine as it will go. Then down towards your bottom, then in towards your spine, up towards your ear. Now start to make that a fluid movement, a circling movement of your shoulder blade against the ribs. You might hear some cracking, some popping. That's a good thing. You might start to feel some heat build up. Reverse your circles, go the other way. Good, relax onto the ground, close your eyes. Notice the difference, especially in the ease and range of motion in the right shoulder compared to the left. Okay, let's go over and do the left now. So you might want to scooch just a tiny bit towards the left so that you've got enough room to move your left shoulder blade. And we'll start by gliding it as far as we can, using muscle strength to pull it as far away from the body as it will go. Then up towards the ear, in towards the spine, down towards the bottom. Out, up, in, down. And then start to make that a graceful circular movement. Again, don't be alarmed by the crunching noises. Go the other direction. And again, relax and just notice the difference between how your shoulders feel. Good. Roll to the side enough to get your blanket out of the way, or you might take the time to open your blanket out so that you can lie on it. All right, so we're going to work with bridge pose for a few repetitions, and as always, you want your feet to be parallel to each other. You want your thighs to feel like they're squeezing towards each other, and you can even use a block to really get that sensation. So you can put the block between your thighs and engage. Notice that if you squeeze and engage the thighs towards a block or towards each other, it might be easier to engage the hara, get that sense of engagement deep in the abdomen, and also might be easier to engage mulban, the muscles of the pelvic floor. All right, we're going to do sort of a spinal flex variation of bridge. So to start out, get your spine to arch as much as it can. So the sits bones and the shoulders will probably be resting on the ground. And then push down hard through your, roll your spine to where the low back is pressing into the floor, and then push with your feet to round your spine up. And again, as long as you can keep engagement in the hara, you can arch your spine. Round down, come into an arch, round the other way, roll yourself up, possibly arching again. Round down, arch back and forth. Great. Now we're going to come up and stay up. So press down through the feet, lift up, and this time we're going to have our spine be as long and straight as it can go. So feel like you have a tail and somebody's pulling your tail right in between your knees and away from you. Good. And now we're going to think about our sacrum, that hard bony spot at the base of the spine, or you might even think about your tailbone and like you're wagging your tail from side to side so that we get maximum range of motion in the base of the spine. And then start to work the center point of that rotation up your spine into the lumbar vertebra, working your way up one vertebra at a time. Then you'll get to the ribs that have the vertebrae that have the ribs, and it'll be a little bit harder. You might have to really work your hips and your shoulders to start to get into that portion of the spine. Great. And then roll your spine down, pressing one vertebra at a time. Let your knees lean in towards each other or lean in towards the block. Next, we'll do a bridge variation where we clasp the hands underneath us. So, if that is challenging for you, then you can make your feet wider apart. Still keep your feet parallel, still keep your knees right over your feet. You may not be able to use your block anymore. So we'll push down through the feet, come up, and lean a little bit to the left so you can pull your shoulder blade towards your spine and towards your bottom. Lean a little bit to the right, pull your shoulder blade towards your spine and towards your bottom. Interlace your fingers. Start to work the backs of your hands further away from your shoulders. You can alternately lift side to side, pulling your shoulder blades away from your neck and towards your spine. Push down hard through your feet and feel as though you're dragging your heels towards your body so that you feel the backs of your thighs and your glutes fire up. If you feel any flattening in the back of your neck, make sure that you're lifting your chin away from your chest. Make this a subtle but active practice. Continue to squeeze your elbows, trying to get them closer towards each other. Remember what it felt like to squeeze the blanket with your shoulder blades. Try and get that sensation as well. Great. Separate your hands. Let your shoulders slide apart. Roll your spine down. Let your knees rest into each other. Okay. Repeat the action that we did when we were on the folded blanket, where you get as broad as you can across your collarbones, and you try and get the backs of your shoulders to push into the floor, and you'll feel your chest lift. Good. So palms facing up and pressing the backs of your arms into the floor. Lift your chin up away from your body, so you've got a pronounced arch in the back of your neck. Turn your head about 45 degrees to the right and stick your chin out past your upper jaw. Go in and out with your chin a few times. Good. Relax your chin. Turn your head facing towards the ceiling. Relax the neck. Broaden across the collarbones. Press the backs of the shoulders into the floor. Create an arch in the back of your neck. Turn your head 45 degrees to the left. Stick your chin past the upper jaw. Move it in and out a few times. Good, and then release. Return to your back. Put your left hand on your collarbone as far to the right as it will go. So your left hand's coming across the body as far out to the edge of the collarbone as it will go. And you're gonna plant your hand so that you feel it dragging your skin and the muscles underneath it away from the head and face. So get that strong anchoring of the hand. You're already start to feel a stretch along the side of your neck. Feel broad across your shoulders, and now lift your chin so that you've got an arch in the back of your neck. Turn your head 45 degrees towards the left and extend your chin beyond the upper jaw. Go in and out with your chin a few times. Release everything, settle back onto your back. Take a second to notice the circulation and ease of movement that comes from doing that stretch. All right, so now right hand over to the right collarbone. Get it out sort of as far towards the shoulder as you can, and then pin the tissues underneath your palm. So pressing deep into the body, feeling the skin start to traction and the muscles start to traction just from that. And create that arch in the back of your neck, 45-degree turn of the head towards the right, and then extend the chin. Go in and out a few times. Good, relax. All right, both legs straight up to the ceiling. Cross your left ankle just above the right knee. And then we'll lace our hands through, holding on to the back of the thigh. Depending on your range of motion, you're going to start to bend your whole lower body in towards your upper body using the strength of your arms. And you'll notice this is an old trick. You can use your left elbow pushing into the left upper thigh to help open the hip more. So make note of the relationship of your low back to the floor. If it's arched, you're going to press the low back into the ground, and if your low back's currently pressed into the ground, arch it. Just keep going with the stretch. Good. Release the hands. Extend both legs back up to the ceiling. Cross the right ankle over the left, and we'll do the same thing on the other side. All right, and then reverse the angle of your low back. Whatever it is, do the opposite. Great. Release the hands, both legs back up to the ceiling, and then bend them into your chest. Take hold of your calves. Your knees will separate a little bit. Take hold of your calves, your shins, your ankles. Maybe you can go all the way down to the outside edges of your feet, and use the strength of your arms to help get your elbows closer into your armpits, even working their way towards the ground. If a gentle rocking side to side feels good for you, you can do that. Happy baby pose. Similar to when we were doing the figure 4 stretch, come to neutral and then experience arching your low back and rounding your low back. You can go through that range of motion a few times, noticing how the stretch changes depending on which one you're doing. Good. Settle to neutral. Bring your left heel in towards your midline and try and straighten your right leg out to the side, kind of like you're doing a flying leap in karate. Good. Reverse. Right heel in, left leg out. And again to the other side. And second side. Good. Come to center. Maybe you'll hold on to your legs or your ankles or your toes, and we're going to curl up and start to rock up into boat pose. You can try that a few times. It might take a while. Eventually coming up. Focus on Mulband and that Hara center engaged together to stabilize you. Good. And then you can extend your legs out straight. Next, we're going to work on some muscles called serratus. And I'm going to try and show you what they look like. Sometimes they're called the banana muscles. They look like how my fingers are along my rib cage. So they're long, thin muscles along the ribs that attach underneath the shoulder blade. And they're hard to stretch. So we're going to work with them now. Bring your upper arms alongside your body, palms facing up, and draw your left elbow back, your right elbow back as far as it will go. Stretch it back, stretch it back, stretch it back. And now take your chest and try and rotate it just as much as you can away from the right arm. And then see if you can get your right elbow back even further. And relax. Woo! Feel the sensation of blood flow into areas where it hasn't been for a long time. palms up, left elbow this time, draw it back, draw it back. Make sure that the shoulders stay down. Draw that left elbow back. Let your body rotate it first, just a bit. Get it as far back as it will go. And now think about your chest trying to return to neutral. Keep pulling that elbow back, maybe even more. Shoulders are still down, collarbones are broad. Keep pulling that left elbow back. And release, and again, notice the circulation. All right, we're gonna alternate. So we'll squeeze the elbows back, almost like you're trying to get them to touch behind you. Remember the area in between the shoulder blades? Feel them squeeze towards each other. Release. Whew. Let your elbows, your shoulder blades slide around and out as far as they can away from each other. And then we'll engage, unslide them as far towards each other, elbows as far back as they'll go, even further back with your elbows. Even a little bit more, and then draw them towards each other. Ooh, relax. Spread the shoulders. Good, and then a third and final round. As broad as you can be across the collarbones. Draw the backs of the shoulders back, elbows back, shoulder blades together. Let your heart start to crack open. Let all of the resistance that you have to the fullest experience of the emotions of life crack open. All right, relax. Again, pause, notice how you feel up there. Okay, this next one can be a little bit hard on the wrists. We'll give it a shot. You might want to put your hands in fists instead, and hands come back behind you. So like a reverse plank pose. Walk your hands as close in towards each other as they can so that you can get this same action with the shoulder blades that we keep building on. So collarbones broad, backs of the shoulders drawing further back, shoulder blades going down towards the bottom. Good. And then to make it possible to move deeper into this, we've got to engage the hara. You've got to find that strength of contracting Mulband and the second chakra area simultaneously. So from this deep expansion in the chest, stretching around the armpits, we will lift the bottom up however much we can, but feeling like you're squeezing a block between your thighs to help you engage your belly. Keep broadening the collarbones. Keep getting the shoulder blades further behind you. Let your chest crack open. Let your throat start to broaden and open. Good, relax down, pause. We're gonna repeat that. It's not quite as powerful a movement on your forearms, but if your wrists are really bothering you, you can do the next repetition on your forearms. So it's almost like a fish pose setup. Again, get your shoulder blades, get your chest, your heart into its maximum opening before you start to engage the posture. All right. Now find first and second chakra, engage to help you lift up from the strength of the belly, from the broadening of the heart. Let your throat start to open. Relax down, Come back to staff pose. Either rest on your back, or if you've got one more in you, set yourself up for one more round. Set up the heart. Open the heart. Get the shoulder blades around the back of the body. Now find the first and second chakras. Engage Mulband. Engage the Dantian center and use the strength of that to lift yourself up. Now find that same length in the throat that we did with the stretches we did earlier. You might even turn your head gently, 45 degrees one way, 45 the other. Great, calm down. Whew. Roll your spine down using the second chakra area to stabilize you as you come down. All right, we'll roll over for cobra pose. Actually, Sphinx pose to start out. Forearms on the floor. So we work with the shoulder blades, broad across the collarbones. Backs of the shoulders move towards the back of the body. Shoulder blades go as much towards the spine as they can, and then down towards the bottom. And find that area of the Dantian center and the hara and engage it, pulling it deeper into the body. Notice how that helps you get strong in your legs. Now we're going to make an action of breaking open our hearts. So your forearms and hands are on the floor. Start to drag your heart more open. Feel your shoulder blades as an encouragement, as a support to help you push your heart more and more open. Push your heart open. Push your heart open. Engage the Dantian center, engage your power center. Now turn your head to 45 degrees one direction and reach your chin out. Keep dragging your heart open. Turn your head 45 degrees the other direction. Reach your chin out. Great, and then roll down. You can stack your hands and put your head on your forehead. Slide your hands apart so that you can put your hands on the floor and push back to child's pose. And now we'll do what I call quarter dog. So your thighs are going to be straight up and down, and the right arm is going to be out as though it were in child's pose. But the left arm is going to be forearm across the body, so you can put your forehead on the left forearm. So once you get the basic setup of the pose, do all of those alignments that we've been working with so far. So feel broad across your collarbones. Feel the backs of the shoulder blades move towards the back of the body. The tips of the shoulders, the shoulder blades slide towards your bottom. Get that broadness in the armpits that we worked with when we were stretching the serratus. Try and get as much stretch in the armpit area all the way down into the side ribs that you can. Let your heart melt. Oh. Great. Push back onto your forearms, reverse the arms. Use the shoulder blades on the backs of the body to feel like your heart is supported as it starts to crack open. Really do your best to feel that stretch around the serratus, around the armpits. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards the spine like we did with the rolled up towel. Great. And then bring your arms back out to a child's pose and rest for a couple of breaths. And then push up onto your knees. Your hands are perfectly positioned to move into a down dog. If you need to do down dog with your hands against the wall, move to the wall. So flipping the soles of the feet to be in contact with the floor. This might be your first down dog of the day, so you could start by pedaling your feet. Maybe shifting your hips. Good, and then settle into a dog. Bend your knees, reach up through your sits bones. Move the shoulder blades around to the back of your body, squeezing them towards the spine. Feel the Dantian center scoop up towards the spine. Good, now shift your weight into your right foot and even to the outside edge of your foot, and look underneath your left armpit. Draw your left hip away from your shoulder so you get a stretch again in the serratus area. Good, release back into dog. Shift the weight to the left foot, the outside edge of the left foot. Look underneath the right armpit and feel the right hip draw away. Feel that stretching in the lats, maybe even in the tricep. Good. Drop to your knees. Again, sit back into child's pose. I'm going to get set up for the final pose of the practice. You may want a blanket, but we're going to do a lot of modifications, so you might not need, not a blanket, sorry, a strap or a belt. So if you are in child's pose, roll up onto your hands and knees. Step your right foot forward in between your hands. You're probably going to want a blanket or some padding underneath your left knee. So go ahead and get that set up. I've got a chair here for extra stability. So if you need to shift to be somewhere else or closer to a wall, go ahead and do that. So the more vertical you are, the easier it's going to be to accomplish the next three variations that we're going to try. So you're going to get your foot away from the floor and hold on to it somehow. Maybe you get a belt, but also if you are holding your left foot, if you turn your body to be facing more to the left, it kind of makes your arm longer and you might be able to reach. So a lot of times these lunges holding the foot are great, or they're primarily used to stretch the hip flexors. We're going to use them to stretch and open the heart and the throat with using the core to stabilize us as we do it. So hold on wherever you can. And And then we're going to start to stretch our chest by turning the torso more facing forward. If this is not too much, if you can go deeper, if you want deeper, you can start to move to a deeper lunge. But remembering that what we're trying to do is get this stretch across the chest, the armpit, and then you're going to work your shoulder blades to help you open your heart. So very quickly we can get to the space of compressing the low back. Engage the core and use the third chakra. Use your powerhouse. Engage it to help you stabilize so that all of the action comes into the upper body. And then let your chest, your throat, the tops of your shoulders, the collarbones, stretch and release. Great. Relax. Phew. See if you need more padding for your knee. So we're going to try 2 other arm variations. The first one we were just holding. The second one, if you can get your hand to the inside edge of anywhere on your left foot and hold on. So essentially your thumb will be pointing up towards the sky. The higher up you are away from the floor, the easier it's going to be to get your foot. You might even have to go into a little bit of a back bend shape. Good. And then once you're there, we're going to focus on opening through this part of our body. Engage the power center, engage through the third chakra, the hara. Good. And then start to twist your chest to face forward. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards your spine. Feel your shoulder blades support your heart so it can crack open. Feel the powerhouse of your navel stabilize and create your determination, and then allow your self-expression to open as your throat blossoms. Come up high to release the foot. And we'll do one more variation of the hand position. Maybe you want to shift and use the strap this time. All right, so again, come up as high as you can to start out, maybe even a little bit of a back bend. And you want to hold your foot so that your fingers are pointing down over the tops of your toes, so that your elbows are free to move up and down towards the ceiling. All right, so get into that position. Now we start to open our chest. Engage your powerhouse, engage the core. Start to turn your chest to open it. Open your chest, open your chest. Find yourself able to rebuild your brokenness by opening through the chest. Good, keep turning, keep turning. Okay, and then here is what we've been building up to through the whole practice. Raise your elbow towards the ceiling while simultaneously dropping the shoulder blade down your back and towards your spine. Engage the core. Turn your head away from the engaged arm. Reach out through your throat. Blossom. Work your shoulder blades. Lift your elbow more, lift your elbow more. Release. Good. Step your foot back. Relax into child pose or any other position that you'd like. Think about your Dantian center. Feel it draw back towards your spine and use that engagement as the first step in rolling your spine all the way back upright. there is a reflex similar to like when we get hit on the knee at the doctor. I don't even know if they even do that anymore, but there's that thing where doctor will hit you on the knee and then your knee automatically kicks. So there's a similar reflex whenever we're threatened, whenever there is a loud noise, whenever our nervous system is put under extreme stress. And what that reflex looks like is this: a closing off of the heart, a closing off of the throat. Through this repeated occurrence over time, we become chronically restricted in that way. So today, we're opening it all back up. Let's step the left foot forward. Get your assist, if you're using one, ready to help you. Try and get in contact with your right foot, toes, or ankle. Once you're there, start to become tall in your spine and turn your chest to be facing more forward. Remember, the point here is not so much the thighs and hip flexors as it is the heart, the rib cage, the armpit, and the throat. So if you want to sink deeper into the stretch, to get deeper into those areas, do so. Great. Come out of the pose, and now we're going to we're going to change the hand position so that the hand's on the inside of wherever we're holding and the thumb points up. So again, you can turn your body towards whatever foot, towards the right. Hold on, and then start to turn your torso to face forward until you get that stretch in the right chest, armpit, throat. Start to work your shoulder blade. Use your shoulder blade to make the position, the posture work for you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together. Open your collarbones. Broaden. Open through your throat. Feel your self-expression blossom. Good. Release. All right, third and final variation. Fingertips are pointing down and the toes are pointing up, holding on if you can. Otherwise, use a strap. We're going to start to point the elbow up towards the ceiling and then start to turn your torso facing forward. Work your shoulder blades. Open the collarbones. Start to engage the elbow moving upwards. Feel the shoulders as the stabilizing support for your expansive heart. Feel the third chakra engage to allow the opening in your chest and your throat. Lift through the elbow. Turn your head a little to the left. Great. Release out of that. Come down onto your back and relax. Now bend one knee, put that foot on the floor, press down so that you roll to the side. And then you're going to use your hands to allow your spine to round its way up like a waterfall. We'll work with alternate nostril breathing yet. So it's always good to get really tall, really supported through your hips, especially through the back portion of the hips. Most of you are very familiar with this. Index finger and thumb come up and rest at the brow spot. The thumb and ring finger toggle the nostrils open and closed. We're going to inhale through the left nostril and exhale out the right. Inhale through the right nostril. Exhale out the left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Inhale right. Exhale left. Inhale left. Exhale right. Keep going. For this first portion of the practice, the most important part is making the breath very smooth and flowing. What you might also notice is how much easier it is for the breath to go in and out, that there's less chronic constriction in the muscles of the chest and the throat. Wonderful, keep going. As we shift from one nostril to the other, we're shifting between the stimulation of the Ida and Pingala energy channels. Two of the three primary channels, these two crisscross back and forth along the central channel of the spine. They also represent yin and yang and the two active and passive aspects of our autonomic nervous system. This practice is wonderful for creating a harmonious balance between those concepts, Ida and Pingala, yin and yang, soothing, passive, active, assertive, back and forth. we're going to continue, but we're going to start to look for the invitation to not breathe. So when you've finished inhaling, notice, does your body desire to not breathe for any period of time? When you've finished exhaling, does your body crave to not breathe for any period of time? What I mean here is like that sensation when you first wake up and you want to stretch your body, and your body knows exactly how it wants to move. It will be that same sort of sensation as you reach the fullness of your inhale. Your body might desire to not breathe in or out. If that's the case, you can just stop breathing, or you might even pinch both nostrils closed. And when you're ready to exhale, simply exhale. Make it easier to hold the breath in or out, to slightly drop the chin while the breath is being held. It's as though the dropping of the chin helps us seal the throat. And then you slightly lift your chin when you're ready for the breath to move again. When you're doing this, you might also engage that Dantian center and Mulband at the same time. Fabulous as the benefits are of alternate nostril breathing, it's still a fluctuation. It's still an alternating. When the breath is suspended, when it's not moving in or out, that is the opportunity when the central channel opens, when we can start to allow our consciousness to elevate, to move upwards through that center channel. By engaging Mulband and slightly dropping the chin, Jalandhara Bandha, when the breath is suspended, that helps us to contain the energy, to direct the energy to that central channel. We're moving towards the end of this practice, and I'd like you to experiment with what if you can find a way to move into a longer suspension. If you can do so without creating any tension in your body, but by actively feeling more relaxed as you reach the end of your capacity to hold your breath. excellent job. You can relax out of the practice. We'll do a visualization meditation. So if you like sitting upright, you can do that, but if you would prefer to relax on your back, relax on your back. For the first little bit, simply enjoy how good you feel, how peaceful you feel. Reminding yourself the purpose of our practice to integrate our power, our engine, our drive with our ability to open our hearts to forgiveness, love, empathy for ourselves and others. And finally, to feel the two of those merge at the throat in our fullest self-expression. And now you can either use visualization or simply work with the mental concept of any aspect of yourself that you consider to be broken. And feel as though you are using liquid gold to mend those broken parts. You may tap into painful areas in your body and feel as though you are soothing them by pouring molten gold into the aches, into the broken parts, into the ailments. Creating a beauty in the brokenness. Creating a greater strength along the lines of brokenness. Experience yourself as mended. Though flawed, there's beauty in the flaws. Through the act of having been flawed and mended, there is a greater strength. And then we're going to expand the practice out to our country, to our nation. Founded on a brokenness of valuing certain humans less than other humans. Pick up whatever pieces there are right in front of you. You can't fix them all, but fix what you can. Find a broken piece in front of you and pour that golden mending around the surface of that broken piece. Continue finding broken pieces and mending them with the gold of your attention and intention. At the moment of this class, the focus is on, but there is a perpetual grinding down, a shattering that happens in many aspects of our world, of our nation. The prison system, the parole system, the probation system, the credit system, even the suspending of children in school which leads to incarceration. There is so much damage throughout our country. We have many shattered pieces to glue together. Continue as you visualize now to glue pieces together with gold. Rather than get overwhelmed by the degree of problem, by the degree of shattering, find the pieces right in front of you that you can address. Visualize yourself, but visualize everyone else, all of us, mending the shattered pieces. Perhaps finding a beauty in the culture that Black America imbues our society with. Finding the strength in the strength that the Black community brings to our country, the resilience, the determination, the faith. Keep visualizing. Allow this purposefulness to lift you up, to inspire you, to give you hope and faith. And now relax out of that practice. Come back to being calm and easy in your body. Connect back with that sense of the machine, of the power in your core. Line it up with rebuilding, with mending, with repairing. Line yourself up with your heart, with your ability to forgive, to have empathy, and to do so for yourself. And through the union of those two things, feel that our country and ourselves as individuals can find a fuller and more complete self-expression. And bring your palms together, and we'll chant one long Sat Nam to end. Sat Nam. Let's bow to our ability to heal ourselves, each other, and the nation. Sat Nam. Thank you.